great. But of course, now without further ado, we're gonna be looking at the drafts here, and I'm sorry to say, Roger is gone. Sorry, Max, you ain't playing Roger jungle this time.
I mean, they're banning Ling also, right? They are specifically targeting Max. The first team that actually first faced bans Ling against JP9ers was actually SRG, and that came after they beat Todak 2-0. Well, NINERS beat Todak 2-0. But Todak banned out. Very good ban. I like it. Barbosa loves that hero. So both teams starting out strong with power bans.
I actually remember who Petrificus Totalis' real name right now.
Yeah, it's Maima.
It's Maima. Oh my god. I was like, wait a minute, that's Maima's face?
Who
why would they change it to Petrificus Totalis? That sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
It sounds like it sounds Greek. I probably need to Google what does that mean.
Medusa, probably. Just because it's petrified.
Because it's petrified, right?
Anyways, Loi first pick coming from NINERS here. Moonji gonna be very, very happy about that pickup as well. He does have the experience to play macroly in that department. But now let's talk about heroes that is pretty much let through right now. And I think the hero that is pretty much out in the open right now is going to be the Moskov, the Natan, as well as the Arlott Barat as well. Okay, Frederick Natan is going to be the safe pick for Team HAQ.
Depends on whether Iris is going to be playing that Fredrin XP. I think Team HAQ has already moved away from flexing this Fredrin for Iris. They are giving him roles like not just the Terizla, he plays a mean Benedetta, which I think could be an option.
That's the thing, right? Like, I've known Iris to be really, really good at Ruby, Benedetta, Paquito,
Terizla. I think Terizla was it.
But during MTMY, he's played Barat so many times to a point
that is right.
It feels weird considering the fact that Iris is such a mechanically gifted player, but he's forced to play one of the most boring heroes ever. It's like, I'm a tank, I walk up, I just press one skill as a hit or miss, that's it, done. There's no flash plays, nothing, nada.
I preferred Iris this season because
on Arlott.
Well,
for me, I don't know about you.
Yeah. Well, just overall,
okay.
And it's not about his playstyle, because last season he only gets to play Terizla and Fredrin, so you know he gets a lot more choice in
and
season.
And the previous
13.
season he doesn't even get to play. He's just benched straight up.
Poor dude.
Dude, that's the thing, right? Like for me, I think Iris is one of the most underrated XP laners ever. But he's not given the tools he's needed to just play.
I'll make you feel better, right? He got benched 2 seasons ago, and the first team they are playing in playoffs is the team that benched him. So
you're just adding on even more.
Dude, the storyline is great, right? So at least JP9ers gets to play, let Zaus play the marksman.
Yeah.
It's been a while since he has not been playing Ruby. To get the Yuzong for year 3, Novaria for Maima. This is already looking scary. A lot of magic damage for HAQ.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more on the roams here, because from what I remember as well, Barbosa has had good success as a Cho as well as a Kufra. Sometimes he plays the Enchanter playstyles as well, but so far we haven't seen too much Enchanter games on stream. But yesterday we did see one that's very interesting, is that they I would say Matilda Barat is like the most popular one. Yeah, man, never mind.
The third one is Florin.
Florin.
Your third choice is Florin, right?
Yeah, like instead of going for Florin, you kind of want to have the movement speed thing here. They actually brought in the Rofela and Barats as well, which kind of wanted the game. It was very, very nice. They topped it off with the Faramis, but this time no Barats. I was like, oh, okay, no point talking about it.
Yeah, no Barats. I mean, no Paquito. You talked about the Iris. It could be a Benedetta ban coming up next, because teams have been actively banning Benedetta against Team HAQ.
I think the Benedetta ban isn't too bad, because Yuzong versus 1v1 Benedetta isn't exactly the greatest as well. In terms of rotations, yeah, Benedetta kind of out-rotates the Yuzong, but getting into the fights, who causes more chaos? And I think Yuzong is a bigger threat than anything else. But again, now here comes Barat as well as the Nolan being banned here. So that means Max is going to be put in a situation. And I think JP9ers is in a situation where they really depend on Max being the playmaker of the team rather than the frontliner that kind of soaks up damage, right? Like Fredrin, Barats, or even like tanky junglers, Arcaya as well, isn't exactly... It feels very uncomfortable to see Max play on it.
I think Max plays Fredrin the most. Like I think like if he's not playing Assassin, he plays...
With the highest boost rate as well.
that is true. You're not wrong about that. The Xbox ban, so you called it right. Benedetta gets let through. I wonder what Team HAQ is going to be looking for, right? Are they going to pick their roamer right now? Like Minotaur, Tigro are still up on the table for Noir? Or are they going to pick that XP laner in this spot? Because I feel like
they should.
They have Janus, right?
Yeah.
Assassin Fanny is one of his signature. I'm not sure if he wants to go for it this game though.
Right now, both roamers not been picked yet, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cho pickup coming from JP NINERS. But I feel like, again, you brought up Foreign. I think Foreign isn't too bad in this situation, but okay, they're going for Minotaur instead. Okay.
I have a suspicion, I have a feeling that there's a chance we might see Iris on the Fredrin just so they could fit a Fanny for Janus. I legitimately think that there is a possibility, depending on what NINERS take for the last 2 picks. But like NINERS also are looking for a jungler, but yeah, so they take the Baxia Edith, alright.
Okay, respectable. I think Roam Edith isn't too bad as well. They brought in for Baxia for Max isn't out of comfort zone as well. It actually gives you that early advantage of the anti-heals, right? Like, I think based on what we've seen so far in terms of meta, we've always been talking about Dominance Ice as a priority pick, right? Durance has kind of, NOD has kind of fallen off in terms of meta as well. But based on the recent changes as well, the armor reduction on armors has pretty much hurt Dominance Ice in terms of value overall. And we've seen a lot of teams kind of shifted away from Dominance Ice and opted to go for the Blade Armor instead.
Yeah. Blade Armor, Oracle, Anticuras, anything but the Dominance Ice.
Yeah.
But also the per level defense increase for tanks, right? Makes it so much more easier to be tanky early to mid.
But let's
So
see.
okay, so it's a Fredrin jungle. They're not going too crazy in this game 1.
Okay.
Lapu for Iris.
I actually like JP NINERS' draft a little bit more, just because of how much teamfight potential it's capable of, whereas Team HAQ requires a lot of very micro fights in terms of micro decisions here. So I feel like in terms of JP NINERS, I definitely like the Yuzhong pickup. The Baxia is just going to be able to set up for team fights as well. So I feel like it's pretty 50-50, but I like JP NINERS a little bit more.
I agree. I think because I was contemplating between Baxia and Akai, because Akai into Fredrin is a natural deterrent. Though I think JP NINERS is definitely prepared to deal with Saken, because Saken, if you look at his match history competitively, Natan is his first choice. Like he rarely goes for like Roger or Harif. Even if it's open, he likes the Natan a lot.
Yeah, and I think this is amazing to actually see a little bit of warm-up here for Team HAQ. We're going up against JP NINERS here. I want to see how JP NINERS is going to be able to fare well against Team HAQ as of yet. And of course, Team HAQ looking to prove themselves here with the integration of Maima in the pool. This is going to be an exciting one.
Just context for people who just tuned in and I'm not familiar with Team HAQ. Petrificus Totalis is actually Maima, and Yanusu is Janus, right? So we're gonna be using their actual IGNs instead of this one. But yes, Max, this Baxia into Fredrin. I think when you look at JP NINERS' draft, it's about just being able to play fast with this Loi Baxia.
Yep, it is going to be game 1 right now. Best of 3. Winner of this series will advance further to try and fight for their second chance in qualifying for the challenge finals here, while the loser will be going home by the end of today. But as of you can see, nothing super out of the ordinary yet. And what's interesting is that they are actually clumped up in the middle lane here to actually kind of force a couple of fights. But I do see rotations up top. Max does have a very early rotation here, so this is going to help them level up for the first turtle fight as well. Unless it gets stolen, Max. No, okay.
Yeah, he got it. I think he can just clear this wave. Probably would commit a retreat for it, since he's going to come back up before the first turtle just so he could hit the floor. Retreat and forcing Noir back. Max is off to a great start.
Yeah, this is actually really good for him because of the fact that he's already a level ahead. He's looking for he may be able to actually potentially get a level 5 before the first turtle fight, whereas Janus is in a situation where he's forced to get out rotated. You can see everyone from Team HAQ is trying to make sure and accelerate the farm of Janus. And I feel like in this situation here, Team HAQ is doing their best to make sure that he's keeping up with Max, but this is actually hurting them in terms of overall map pressure in this map right now.
Max, like you said, is going to hit 5. Just off of the... He managed to clear the golems right at the bottom side, right? So you could be looking for a play up top onto Petrificus Totalis Maima, forcing the Purify very early on. Well, Janus is going to be on the turtle. Yeah, Team HAQ, they don't have 4 on the Minotaur. I'm not sure how they're going to take this. Might have to let it go. Yeah,
it's going to be close as well. Iris is very close to 4, but it looks like they're going to start a fight now.
Petrified, it should be first blood. The bleed out with the Shard Residue. The Edith claims it. And the retreat from Janus just too early. Black Dragon formed as a deterrent. Team HAQ forced to retreat.
Yeah, this is the best you can ask for here coming from Team HAQ, right? They made one small mistake here. They forced major ultimates here. Good catch coming from JP9ers, and seeing how JP9ers understands that they have the level advantage. And on top of the level advantage, because Max is a level ahead, there's no way he loses his Petri battle against Janus, but instead, he actually waited for Janus to panic Retri instead, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that there was a universe where he could have stolen the turtle.
Yeah.
It was at such a low HP. Still, it's not a big blow to Team HAQ, at least not for now. It seems like JP9ers have no intention of going for any sorts of invades, though they do already have a more than 1,000 goal advantage, just like that. Here comes Max though.
Oh, wow!
He just drive by.
Oh, this is not looking good for Janus once again here. JP9ers finally figuring out how to actually deal with Team HAQ, just making sure that he's out-farmed Janus so far, and now here comes the engagement.
Flicker, Earth Shatter into an onwards, forcing out the Minoan Fury. Noir could not stand long. Iris arrives to the scene. Moonji has the diversion, just escapes this Lapu Lapu as Barbosa. He will also get out. Furious dive, knock up, flip. 2 kills for JP9ers.
Yeah, I like how NINERS is just playing super aggressive on this Baxia right now. And Baxia is just one of those heroes that has so much early aggression. And to top it off, because of him getting an early Molten Essence here, pretty much procs the anti-heal on whoever that requires healing from the Minotaur rather early here. And usually, like I said as well, NOD Dominance Eyes, first item choice takes a little bit more time, but because you have this anti-heal before the fight, forcing fights in Baxia favors, not exactly helpful for HAQ.
Yeah. Even with the Baxia, now you can even omit the fact that this Loi might have to go NOD first item, right? You can focus on your Talisman, Lightning Truncheon. Sea Harbor is no longer an important consideration. Second turtle up top. Team HAQ still wants to contest this?
Ooh, this is gonna be tough here. Zaf does not have, he does have the ultimate to join this fight here, but looks like Echo has been used. They will start the fight right now.
Both already found Noir. Black Dragon form used very early on. EH3 wants to find the back. This turtle is gonna go over, secured by Moon. Spear Destruction connects Zaf. Decides that this is his time to join the fight as Max leads the charge into Noir, desperately trying to retreat. Petrificus Totalis can't do enough damage. Fedrin slams down, but Max still survives. JP9ers finds a kill and a turtle.
Well, at the same time here, Moonji, they're going to be trying to make a attempt down second as well. Okay, nothing super crazy here, but again, NINERS, they're playing to their strength, right? Like, that's the thing about Moskov here. If you hit your ultimate here, it's going to be a 5v4 straight up for at least 10 to 15 seconds here. Meanwhile, Ye3, what are you doing here? Okay, the confidence coming in here. They almost got the kill on Maima, and I think he's going to kill Barbosa. 1 more HP. Boom, he's dead. Okay.
Yeah, even if he actually blocks that, Barbosa would die anyways.
Yeah.
But good attempt. Good attempt. Too bad Barbosa didn't have his ult. Or Flicker just came back up also, so slightly unlucky.
Hey, this is why you look for Petrificus Totalis, man. Like, he is the man that when things don't look good for your team, he is the guy who's going to be feeling any role he wants. Regardless of fighter, regardless of a gold laner, regardless of mage, he is going to be the guy that actually clutches for the team. However, let's talk about comeback mechanics here for Team HAQ, because as of yet, Janus not having a good time, getting out retreat once again to Max, and he's almost a level behind, but he somehow managed to scale back, and this is something that I really like, because if they are able to hold on against this Baxia's power spike here, they're going to be okay, because eventually this Baxia will lose out in terms of overall damage, similar to a Barat in the later stage of the game.
I like what Zavs did. He altered the Lapu just so he could go to top and perform an immediate lane swap. So that Ye3 can go bottom. Just the small details, and now Iris is like, man, I can't swap lanes, but also I cannot do anything against the Moskov.
Yeah, very nice timing as well on top of it all. Turtle is on the bottom side here, having the gold laner rather early in the turtle, especially where there's not a huge level lead here, is not going to be looking good for Team HAQ. Meanwhile, NINERS, they can rejoin the fight anytime they want, because Zav's ultimate not necessarily very long here. His passive does gives him a lot of cooldowns to actually reset this fight here, but it looks like he's going to break down right now.
Yeah, Barbosa used the flicker, instantly goes into a primal form. Noir no more. Oh, they get the taunt onto Barbosa. He goes down first, but the Loi damage from the rotation just a bit too much. Team HAQ loses their Roma. Petrificus Totalis on the run, forced away from the fight, uses the Purify. JP9ers gets the turtle, and the rest of Team HAQ again forced to retreat, but Zav's not gonna let Maima get away as the Ye3 tries to chase Iris with the help of Max. Can't find him, but still, NINERS finds 2 kills.
You know, beautiful synergy here as well here, but guess what? Moonji, he's looking for a solo kill.
What?
Down bottom here. TP'd up with a divergent right at the spot where Sakan could not see it right under the brush there. nicely done. But again, towards the point I was saying as well, Moonji was in a position where he was so awkward inside the pit. Technically, if he get dived on by HAQ, he is going to go down. But because of how oppressive Max and Ye3 is, Ye3 with a 3-man knockup, setting up for the Divergent combo, the yin-yang reactions for Moonji just completely shredded HAQ in all the fights.
And all that, they only lost Barbosa, the best trade you could ask for. In fact, both depths on JP9ers are only from the Edith. So Niners are in control. More than 4,000 goal advantage, 8 minutes in.
This is very, very big lead here. The biggest problem that Team HAQ has right now is how they deal with both Ye3 and Max at the same time, because they don't necessarily have the most amount of damage to actually deal with them in terms of power spikes, because Natan just generally loses out the advantage of using the DHS's passive, right? And in this case, they need to scale in a situation where they need to outscale Baxia and mirror this. And Janus hasn't had a very, very good time. Like 3 level behind against this Baxia. Turtle contest, not exactly the greatest for them here. They've got the ultimate with the Novaria, but aside from that, it feels like they need more out of this Lapu Lapu to actually deal with the back lines, whereas Yuzhong is just in your face. I don't care who you are, I'm just gonna kill you.
Yeah, and Yuzhong is like more than 1,000 goal ahead of Lapu Lapu.
Oof,
I actually feel the worst for Iris because they lost that top tier one so early on. Iris doesn't really have a room to farm. He shows up in lane, he's gonna die. So they are giving everything to Saken, and JP9ers, yeah, just gonna make sure that Saken doesn't even get to feel comfortable.
Huh, interesting. Now, it's interesting to see how they're focusing on just trying to shut down Saken and cutting off the exit strategy, right? Every single time Zaps is positioning here, he's making sure that Super Saken is in a awkward spot where he has to take the long way around, where he just needs to drop a Spear of Destruction and he gets into the fight immediately.
Yeah, I think because they realized that we've already shut down this Lapu Lapu, so there's lesser things to worry about. I mean, Niners, I don't think they're in a rush to get this lore in any ways. If they see Team HAQ show up, they can just play it slow as they want. Max is 3 levels ahead of Janus at this point.
My god, this Baxia is just doing a lot of very, very interesting moves as well here, but JP9ers, beautiful stuff here, and you can see Barbosa, Ye3, they trying their best to actually poke this out, and it all comes down to the Lord Dance, right? They need Iris to kind of find a big opening, but here comes the collapse.
5-man ping, Black Dragon to the back, Petrify on the Saken. Saken is bleeding out. Max will eventually go down thanks to Saken's damage. No retribution for JP9ers. Team HAQ misses the retry, but still gets the Lord at the very end. This is the lifeline that they've been looking for, but Janus will have to be sacrificed. Noir to follow. JP9ers loses the Lord, but finds 3 kills.
Oh, that was a very, very nice setup here coming from Team HAQ. Like, not gonna lie, I was expecting them to lose out even more. They were somehow able to trade off Max here. Unfortunately, you know, the front lines are just too oppressive coming from JP9ers. As you can see, they have the Edith, they have the Yuzhong, both very, very tanky compositions. And again, not many tank shredders coming from Team HAQ right now. Like, they need Saken to be max items here before they actually do something about this.
In fact, Saken surviving Ye3 was kind of the reason that Team HAQ was able to get a kill onto Max, and even then they missed their retry. That could have been a lot more worse. But at least with that play, with that steal, JP9ers, they don't get to extend any goal lead. We're still stuck at the 4,000 goal mark. Spear of Destruction connecting onto the Fredrin. Now, they didn't commit to it. It seems like they will to look for Janus, but he's a tanky boy.
Okay. You know, like, if Zaps is able to get a very, very nice catcher, especially if Janus was next to a wall, they would have gotten a fight here. But let's talk a little bit of replay here. You can see Yuzhong diving towards the back lines. Yeah, he's looking to try and finish the fight against Saken, but Saken was able to actually entropy into the bush and get out to safely here. And even the snipes coming from Moscow didn't exactly connect, giving them a second chance. But again, he's doing so much for the team. But Niners has one of the easier composition to work with, right? Like, they just go in, walk up, it's like, I'm going to throw every single spell, someone's going to die. There's so much AoE and crowd control that JP9ers brings to the table, and Team HAQ just needs to outplay every single of that, or even out-sustain it, which is very difficult to do so, especially against a Baxia.
I think the goal right now is protect President Saken. If Saken lives, Team HAQ wins. Speaking about Saken, they're going for him. Force out an early entropy. And Iris now has to bear the brunt of the damage. Janus is in no man's land. The knockup from Barbosa connects. The piercing damage from this Moskov is not going to make it any easier. Noir himself flickers away. Gets tagged by the Primal Wrath form. And instantly a Petrify from Ye3 to look for Maima. The Shard Residue, not enough to bleed enough, but Zaps is just on a tear. JP NINERS with 2 more.
Oh, this is so frustrating for Team HAQ as well. You can see how efficient JP NINERS are. They're just teleporting everything here, taking every single objectives with this divergent. And again, Team HAQ just has so much to work with because of the fact of this anti-heals coming from the box here as well. I think I do only see an Oracle up on Iris, but everyone else does not have a way to do an out-sustain this here. Even with a Minotaur setup as well, JP NINERS says, I don't really care about the Minotaur's rage here. I have heroes that can outlast the Wombo combo, which is something that JP NINERS just understands, that they just out-damage Team HAQ at this stage.
I feel bad for Noir and Janus. They were clearly trying to stop Zaus, but the piercing damage from this Moskov is unintentionally, hurting Team HAQ's backline. Second Lord, this one is going to be even more important for Team HAQ. They got the first one, but this is the one that can actually stabilize the game. That's
exactly what JP NINERS' composition is intended for, right? Like, they group up right in your face, force multiple heroes to group up together, and kind of lets Moonji as well as Zaps just do your own wombo combo thing. Like, if you're combo together, you're taking even more damage than you should be, and that's exactly what JP NINERS want. And Team HAQ, they want to take a split fight, but they need Iris to do that. But it's hard to do that when Moonji is always preemptively setting up a divergent plan. It's like, I'm going to be grouping up here. If you don't group up with me, you're dead.
Yeah, usually you would have easily been able to set up a split push with Natan or any side laners, but in this game, no way at all. Like, Saken, he really wanted that tier 2, but with this Loi alive, it's just not possible. And now all 3 lanes will be synced up. Team HAQ will have to mount this defense. I mean, the Lord is less than half. The charge to go through, but Saken gets rid of it with Entropy. Iris had to commit that Bravest Fighter just to settle that bot side.
So difficult as well. Like, you can see JP NINERS, they're so smart. You have a dragon that goes through terrain, fastest rotation into the fight here. You've got a divergent that goes in very, very fast. You've got a global teleport TP on Moskov. You've got Baxia who runs faster than everyone else. It is going to be tough here. But now when they're grouped up, let's see how it goes.
Noir flicker out already. Spear Destruction connects, but Zaps is not going to take that. Way too deep in enemy territory. In fact, best case scenario, I think he actually used Azal a bit too early. Thank goodness he didn't go down. Team HAQ defends all inhibitors. You could not have asked for a better defense.
Yeah, this is actually huge for them. Like, they need a little bit more timing as well. But seeing how in Super Socket right now is almost max item, right? Like, once he gets his final item, I think it's going to be the Holy Crystal as the final item here. Once he gets that, JP NINERS is going to be in for a pain because Max isn't able to be sustained this year. He's got Radiant Armor, but aside from that, that's it. There's not enough magic defense here, even with the Athena shield here. But it seems like he's swapped his Molten Essence, so it looks like he's realized at the stage here, anti-heal's not really a big threat here. They've got the NOD on Moonji now for this upcoming fight. So I think this is a good W for JP NINERS, but again, that just shows how their power spike is slowly withering down, where HAQ is kind of in the situation where if they don't make a mistake anymore, and in this case, getting caught by both Moonji and Barbosa, they're going to be fine.
Yeah. I think Max is looking for the immortality next, right? He already got the belt. That Dreadnought armor will probably be the last item he upgrades. It's not a big... It's not... The anti-cuirass is not important. You're only dealing with Iris, essentially.
Yeah.
Probably going to be waiting for that third Lord, which is spawning in top side. You're actually intentionally letting the wave push in also. So Team HAQ, the fact that they are still able to walk out from the base as 5 and get at least a part of the jungle back, this is, I would say, JP NINERS giving them some space, but can Team HAQ take that top side? I think that's important.
Yeah, and as of yet, you can see Team HAQ technically, quote-unquote, they're losing 13-3, 7k net worth behind here. But once we see the 46k to 52k gold net worth mark here, Team HAQ is going to be finding equals with JP NINERS. And this is something that I think JP NINERS cannot afford to drag this out because of the fact that this is where Iris and Janus doesn't really matter in all these fights. Like, they are going to be in your face. They just can't be killed. So that's going to be a big problem for JP NINERS in terms of overall sustainabilities, right? Noir's got heals, and in this case, JP NINERS, they have to burst down one guy so quick. And seeing how this is happening here, it is going to be very difficult, especially when they've got a Novaria providing them all those vision.
I think Yetri's job is just going to be the same throughout the entire game. You Black Dragon form, you find Saken. If you don't kill him, you make sure he doesn't get to join the fight. Well, a faint diversion. Here we go, the fight begins. Barbosa loses the immortality instantly. But Noir and Iris, they're going to stick on to Zaps. Zaps needs to be able to do some damage. The rotation is not enough. And that's the fight the Team HAQ needs. 2 kills for Sakin.
Nicely done as well, coming from Team HAQ. Like, they realize that they have the power spike, and this is exactly what I'm talking about as well. Like, how do you deal with the sustains, right? Like, early game, JP9ers, they should be rolling over very, very hard. It should have got super out of control, but with this play, Sakin finally getting his final items here, it's very difficult to stop him here. There's not really a lot of items to do here. Yes, you have 3 Radiant Armors up on JP9ers, but if you don't have Zafs committing to this fight against him, he is going to completely destroy you, because in terms of AoE control, Sakin definitely hits faster and harder than a Moscow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just based off of these small events, right? Team HAQ getting the first Lord, defending their base against the second Lord, and now getting the third. Starting to turn this around. JP9ers can feel that goal advantage, or the advantage overall, slowly slipping away. Max can't tank as much. Barbosa just disappears when Sakin starts hitting him. And credits to Noir and Iris, they threw their bodies at Zhaos for that fight, so Zhaos could not even deal damage.
Oh no,
Munji got a flicker. Mid-tier 1.
Well, this is a big start here for Team HAQ. They've got sustains here. Noir is level 15 as well. He's looking for the setup for a big Mignon Ridge as well. Like previously, the Mignon Fury doesn't really matter here because there's not a lot of damage in the team fight here. But now he's got the tankiness and also the heals to actually keep everybody topped up. So this is a big W for for Team HAQ if they're able to equalize the score. But with one Lord push, they have to actually catch up in terms of net worth as well.
I'm gonna be the first team to break an inhibitor. Rotation, Yin Yang reaction, Noir, ultimate only onto Barbosa. Looking for the damage. They can't finish off Barbosa just yet. The Lord will buy them some time. Quickly taken off by JP9ers. Barbosa committing the Primal Wrap to try and clear out that bottom wave, but still the inhibitor goes down. Team HAQ taking 2 inhibitors on the side lanes against JP9ers. Now they start to realize that, I mean, for JP9ers, this is a big problem.
Yeah, Baxia's power spike, you know, is starting to drop off tremendously as well. We saw how oppressive Mac is in the early stage of the game here, but once we see those Divine Glaives, once we see if a potential Malefic roll, in this case they don't really have it here, they pretty much just completely steamroll on him as well, and you can see damage leaderboard here as well. Zaps is going to be the main DPS, but Sakin, even though he hasn't been joining a majority of the fights because of Zaps' global presence here, but now when they're playing defense, Sakin is able to do anything they want if they grouped up as 5. In this case, JP9ers, they have to choose the fights to isolate in their favor once more, because if they play into the hands of Team HAQ, they are getting completely shredded by Sakin. And again, like you said as well, the biggest threat from the side of Team HAQ is going to be Sakin as well as Iris. And Iris, we haven't seen too much about him yet, you know, going for the flashy plays, but he's just throwing meat shield bodies so that Sakin is just having a free time. Free hitting.
Yeah, he's literally using his Land Shaker to stun targets, right? Like his job is just a utility tank at this point. Even so, is Fury Hammer. I think he's going for a Winter Truncheon next. The boots are coming off for both marksmen. Zafs, I think he has the immo. He sold the immo for a Sea Halberd for some damage items. Max caught by the taunt. The Sakin damage is too much.
Ouch.
I was about to bring this out. I'm surprised that Max decided to go for anti-cuirass instead of the immo. Because without the immo, you saw how fast he died.
Yeah, unfortunate to say, but again, this is exactly what Team HAQ should have been doing. And the idea around this draft from Team HAQ has always been this game plan. Iris in the back lines causing problem and then going for the fight. Same can be said for JP9 using Year 3, but it's hard to do it when now Sakin just completely 1-2 shots Year 3, or even Max gets obliterated like that before the fight even begins. This is a Baxia with a Tortoise Persons on getting melted in 3 to 4 seconds. So that is some serious damage coming from Team HAQ.
Percentage damage reduction, not a problem.
Yeah.
Iris in, Bravest Fighter. Barbosa eats the taunt. Zafs again stunned by the Land Shaker. He cannot move at all. Noir with the Minoan Fury. Barbosa gets control, comes back to life. Team HAQ looking for a potential final push with this advantage. Year 3 Black Dragon already committed, but Barbosa, he's 50 seconds away and the Lord just spawned. Team HAQ might be looking for a potential comeback in this game 1 to kick off this series.
What a way. What a way to start first game here at SPS. Like right from the get-go, we see a comeback between both Malaysian teams. And you see now with Zaf going for the fight as well, they have to go all in.
I think they can just straight up commit for the crystal. There's nothing that stops them. Team HAQ completes the comeback in game 1 of this best of 3. On an opening statement in this rematch from MPL Malaysia, seems like Team HAQ still got JP9